Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another wonderful round of the Porsche Cup Challenge, brought to you by the Sim Racers Room, SKNY Media. I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, aka The Real High. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned for another wonderful event. And we are going to have a great time this afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world, whatever time you are watching this wonderful event. The drivers have already started their outlaps, and let's get to seeing how they're faring. But first, we have some race details to go over, I believe, and we'll get right to that, as well as the championship standings. But first, we're at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, track length of 4.657 kilometers or 2.9 miles. Founded in September of 1991, we're located in the Montemelo province of Barcelona, Catalunya, Spain. We're actually pretty far away from Barcelona, I will say that much. We have 16 corners, 8 to the right, 8 to the left, with the chicane, of course. The testing capital of Formula One, one of the most used circuits in Formula One testing due to its mix of high speed, medium speed, and low speed corners. Conditions are 25 degrees Celsius, 52% humidity, partly cloudy skies with 12 kilometers per hour crosswind coming at you. Track temperature is going to be 36 degrees, altitude of 119 meters, but the elevation change around Barcelona, Catalunya, will be 97 feet or 29.6 meters. Couple keys to the race here: tire management being crucial, so manage those tires. The circuit is very demanding on tires, especially the front left, due to the long high-speed right-handers like turn 3 and turn 9. Degradation is typically high, especially into these hot conditions. Drivers must decide when they want to take their tires. This will not be a 2 or 3 stop race, but there will be a required pit stop for the drivers. Making sure that you balance your a good aerodynamic balance with a wide range of slow, medium, and fast corners. Barcelona exposes aerodynamic weaknesses. Car setup is a compromise. You need high downforce for the corners, but also low drag for the main straightaway. Qualifying will matter. Overtaking is extremely difficult here, hence why qualifying will be historically a key to success here, especially with that final chicane. The undercut potential, I hinted at this a little bit earlier. The undercut is powerful here due to the high tire drag and the length of the pit lane entry and exit. Timing your pit stop correctly will be crucial. Hopefully the drivers have practiced their pit stops. Looking forward to this wonderful event, folks. Let's take a look at the championship standings. Well, first, actually, let's take a look at the race calendar, if we can. We've been to Imola, we've been to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, now we're at Barcelona, and next up will be the Red Bull Ring, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, Hungaroring, Zandvoort, Monza, to round things out for this 8-round championship. Taking a look at the points, it's Kadim Mohammed actually in P1 with 84 points, ahead of Jaden Harrison in P2 with 79 points. Peter Arundel in third, Declan Daniel in fourth, Monet Duploy in fifth, Adi Nagel in sixth, Julian Arce, Louis Benny, Giannis Constantine, Andrew Marsan, Michael Ashe, Benny Zvetvaga, Joshua Brady, and Deslin Van Gerp will round out the 14 participants in this championship so far. Let's get right over to the action. It looks like Jaden Harrison is the driver that's looking for that pole position time as he enters the final chicane here at Barcelona. Purple sector 2, green sector 1. He might be on for one right now. With just 11 minutes left in this qualifying run, Declan Daniel and Haldor head to the pits right now, but it is Jaden Harrison at the top of the charts. A 1:49.421 will be the time for the rest of the drivers to beat. Addy, though, looking pretty apt to be on one. When he crosses the line, where will he fall? It'll be a 158.93, 1.4 off the good of Jaden Harrison right now. Declan Daniel coming out for his outlap, it looks like. The number 31 Porsche driver. Of course, they're all driving Porsches. This is the Porsche Cup Challenge, of course. Taking a look at Lewis Benny now. Green through Sector 1, green through Sector 2. About to enter the final sector. Coming through La Casia. In through Banc Sabadell and Europe car. Jaden Harrison, purple Sector 1, Sector 2 again. Trying to dismiss anybody that challenges him for that pole position spot. As we discussed during the keys to the race, it is extremely difficult to pass around here. Slipstream not being strong enough in these cars to get a move done at turn 1. Lewis Benny, good enough for 4th position, a 151.093 that last lap around. Not too shabby. Still 1.6 down from the pole position time. Let's ride on board with Jaden Harrison for a lap if he will allow us to do so. Nope, he pulls over to the side. We might have to ride on board with Addy here. Declan Daniel, 149.74 that last lap around. Let's see if we can ride on board with this driver as we get to turn number 1. This will be Elf crossing over to the right-hand side, brushing over to the left, not touching the green paint. And now we go through the fast right-hander of Renault. A little temptation there on the throttle to get the application down to speed out through the corner. This leads down into turn number 4 of Repsol. Another fast right-hander where you carry a ton of speed using all the track that you bought and paid for. Then into the braking zone of Sia. Another left-hander, slow, medium speed corner. Pounding through the kink and in through Worth. Over the sausages, we do not assault them in the Porsche Cups. Then you got to go to Campsa. Another fast right-hander carrying a lot of speed and really abusing that front left tire. Now into the braking zone of La Casia. Hard on the brakes there, and then you got to get set up for Banc Sabadell, so you cut over to the left, then brush over to the right with a quick downshift. Now Europe car, very tricky because you want to be over to the left-hand side to carry the speed, but you got to get back over to the right for the final chicane of ADAC. And that will be a lap around for Adi Nagel. Now looking at Declan Daniel as Addy came down pit lane right before we got to the final corner. With just 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining by the end of my spiel. We have a couple drivers that haven't set times yet. Monet Dupuy, no time set yet. He's got to get the hurry up and go on. Jay Butler actually looking to improve, but hold on, Declan Daniel with a purple sector 2. Yellow through sector 1, though, not carrying as much speed as he needed to best his personal best, but still strong in sector 2. Let's see how he fares through sector 3. Is it enough to thwart Jaden Harrison, or at least get a little bit closer to challenge him for P1? Jaden Harrison is a driver that you really need to contend with early on in the race. If you let him get into a rhythm, he will just run away with it. Declan Daniel, 149, 141, a little bit faster that time around. Jay Butler, 149, 141. No, 151, 266 for Jay Butler. Monet Deploy getting his obligated screen time here, the number 8 driver for the Oracle Red Bull Racing Team. Green through sector 1. How does he fare for sector 2? We'll find out in just a few moments with 4:30 remaining in the session. Good through sector 2, it looks like. He will get a valid lap if he keeps it within track limits for the final sector. And he desperately needs to, because he's running out of time to get it done and dusted. Oh, and a slip trip and fall into the kitty litter on the entry to Europcar. Yellow flags out for Declan Daniel this time around. I presume he pulled off, and that'll be the end of his qualifying run. Monet Dupoy with a 150. 810, 1.6 off the good, but still a valid lap time set, and that'll be good enough for 4th position for this driver, who's doing pretty well in the championship standings as it sits. Looking back at Daniel, can the Calypso Racing driver do anything in the final couple of minutes? Beautiful livery as well. Not the typical Calypso Racing stripes that we've seen, but still looking good. I love the red rims. He assaults the curbs, and that will actually be it for Declan Daniel. Addy, looking good through sector 2. Not so hot through sector 1. A 149, 141 is the time to beat right now. He crosses the line. Still 7/10 back from Jaden Harrison. Still have a couple more runs at it with 149 laps. Should be able to get this one plus one more if he's carrying enough fuel. Lewis Benny again, not great through sector 1, but green through sector 2. And this is a beautiful blimp shot here as we go into the final chicane. Declan Daniel is rolling out, trying to thwart that attempt. Jaden Harrison to seal off P1 right now. Lewis Benny gets to the line. 151.086 is his time. 1.9 off the good. And 1.9 as well for Marsan. And Marsan is in pit lane. That'll be the end of his run. Jaden Harrison running around, doing Jaden Harrison things still. And that'll be the end of his qualifying run as well. Practice those pit stops. And I believe that's what he's doing. Declan Daniel on his outlap currently. He should get to the line with plenty left in the tank. Unless this is just an attempt to practice that pit stop of his. When I deploy, I did see green sector 1, but he's down into pit row, and that will be it for his run of things. Declan Daniel is into pit lane to practice that long pit lane entry. And he hits the pit limiter just in the nick of time, but will he hit his marks? Crosses over the red and white stripes, pulls over, and gets his service just in the nick of time. Yes, he does hit his mark fairly well. Let's look at Lewis Benny, who's still trundling around track. Lewis Benny will get a bonus lap of this qualifying run if he so chooses. 152.014 that last time around. When I deploy out on track one more time, Jaden Harrison, Declan Daniel also pulling out onto the racing track. And Lewis Benny calls it done in the Unzo. Coming through what looks like Renault. And that'll be the end of his run. That'll be the conclusion of qualifying as well. We'll get the results up in just a few moments, and then we'll show the grid as well. Just waiting for the results to get finalized. And the drivers will get gridded up. We're just waiting for, I believe, a few drivers to finish up their qualifying run, but we will finish that up and get back to the racing action. While we wait, let's check out the championship standings so we know what to look out for here. Kadeem Mohammed in P1 with 84 points. Jaden Harrison in P2 with 79 points. Declan Daniel with 56. Monet Duploy tied for 5th with 48 with Adi Nagel. Julian Narce in 6th. Lewis Benny in 8th. Giannis Constantine in 9th. Andrew Marsan in 10th. Ashe Zvetvaga, Brady, and then Van Gerp will round out the 14 participants today. Don't know what's happening to my overlay. I apologize, folks. I have to restart SDK. Jaden Harrison, Declan Daniel, Adi Nagel, Monet Duploy, Marsan taking over this race, and it looks like a very bad start for Adi Nagel right now, out in P1, and Jaden Harrison got a great start and leads by about half of a second, closing down the gap into the braking zone. Adi Nagel locks up the brakes going in towards turn 1, and that will be it for him for now as he rejoins in the back of the pack. Declan Daniel looking pretty good. No, that's Andrew Marsan who's gained 3 positions off the start of this race into second. And Declan Daniel falls back into third. Monet Duploy from the Cayman Islands looking up the inside at Repsol. Getting RG Bargy is Jay Butler and Lewis Benny now. Racy between the two of them. Now we're coming into Siat. And Lewis Benny trying to go the long way around the outside. Has a bit of a wiggle there on mid-corner, and that'll be Jay Butler in the number 3 from the Wales, looking pretty apt for his 5th position, and he's gained 2 on the good. Pretty good start here, pretty clean start for the most part now. Darn shame for Declan Daniel on the start of the race, really bogged down there and didn't get that start taken care of the way he expected to. That really thwarted his chances. The 2 Calypso Racing drivers of Marsan and Daniel going after it. Oh no, and Jay Butler tumbles down the order after a crash. Adi Nagel also crashing. Let's take a look at the replay and see what happened really quickly. Jay Butler going into the final sector, just cooks it under throttle. Oh, and takes out Adi Nagel, and that will justify what happened to Adi. Worse for wear for the driver that started at the front of the grid, now working his way back from the end of the field through what looks like a little bit of an impossible comeback story. But if Adi can come back now, it'll be an amazing comeback story. Adi actually into pit lane, and I think that might be the end of his race. Darn shame for the driver that started in P3. Declan Daniel back where he started, and we got a pass for position that we ended up missing. Let's see if we can catch a glimpse of what happened there. This is coming out of the final corner. It just looks like Marsan went a little deep and wide coming into the final corner, and Declan Daniel able to navigate that one pretty cleanly. No questions asked there. Declan Daniel, the Cali driver for Calypso Racing, looking pretty good right now, up into P2, 9/10 back from Jaden Harrison, but watch out for that man, because once he gets into a rhythm of his pace and consistency, he is an unstoppable force. Jaden Harrison out in P1 for DWR Sim Coach Setups, the number 9 driver. And we're just 3 minutes and 33 seconds into this 40-minute endurance race, folks. So more action is going to come our way, that's for sure. But when it'll come and who it'll come from, well, that's up to the drivers to decide. $149.920, fastest lap of the event, going to Declan Daniel right now. Closing down the gap on his opponent, Jaden Harrison, out in front. Going to switch back to the battle between Monet and Andrew Marsan. Marsan, who's up 2 positions for the night. Looks to be under threat from the car behind by around 0.8 of a second. Gareth Wells and Lewis Benny awfully close to each other, with Branson Haldor as well right in front. So we got a nice 5-way battle for P4 through P7. I should say P3 through P7, actually, as all these gentlemen are within a second of each other, as it were. I'm keeping an eye on the timing tower to make do with Jaden Harrison and Declan Daniels' battle. Interval seems to be climbing right now between the two drivers. 1.27. New personal best coming in. That's what the green time means on the left-hand side of your screen. That pops up when the drivers cross the line. And the white ones are not personal bests. Lewis Benny looking to the inside of Renault. Can't find the daylight there. Squeezes the number 4 out of the way and prevented him from being able to turn in. That was a good-looking move, but a little ways back. And a switchback confirmed for that number 4 who found the inside line through Repsol. Now into Siat's going to be on the outside line. Can't he get a switchback pulled out from under him? He does go for the switchback, but it looks like Lewis Benny is going to hold on to that lead for just another second. Going down into Worth, it's still nose to tail Lewis Benny and Gareth Wells still going after it next to each other. Gareth Wells trailing from behind. The driver's up 1 position for the night, was up 2 before Lewis Benny stole that position away. Looking to the inside line, threatening the attack, but backs out of it at the last second. And then there is Monet Duploy, spun around the wrong way. Let's get a replay of what happened to Monet here. Going into sector 3, Lacasia, and just lit it up on throttle, spins the car right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. And that will be all she wrote there. Again, looking on the inside line of turn 3, trying to get something to work, and the attacking move on Branson Haldor did scare him from turning in, and Lewis Benny closing down the gap pretty steadily right now. Inside attack for Repsol will be the outside line into Siat. Oh, and they're going to door bang pretty hard. Lewis Benny and Branson Haldor come together, and Lewis Benny gets the worst of it, and he's stuck in the kitty litter now and will fall back behind Monet Duploy, or will he fall back behind Monet? Monet rejoins the racetrack behind Lewis Benny. Let's get another review of what happened between Lewis Benny and just a tiny bit of overlap there, and I can't tell who moved over or what happened, but that was definitely contact into the left rear quarter panel of Lewis Benny. Again, can't tell if Branson came over or if Lewis Benny turned in, but there was a car in existence there, and racing room was not given. And that resulted in Lewis Benny, worse for wear, down into 7th position. The driver of that number 7, down 1 position from where he started in P6. Jay Butler's up 1. Branson Haldor's up 4. Gareth Wells up 4. Andrew Marsan up 2. Declan Daniel and Jaden Harrison right where they started this race. Might have to take a look at that as the gaps come down to around 0.6 of a second. between Daniel and Jaden Harrison as they approach Sia. Pretty quiet on the Western Front. Let's check in with Lewis Benny and Monet Deploy as we wait for something to brew up for the battle for P1. Maybe this is one that we'll have to wait for the pit stops to see who comes out on top. Maybe Declan Daniel will go for an undercut right before the 20-minute mark, or Jaden Harrison will have to cover that off at the very least. 149.6 to 149.9. The last time around, Jaden Harrison steals the fastest lap of the event right now. Good little three-way squall between Jay Butler, Lewis Benny, and Monet. Lewis Benny on the recovery drive after that slip, trip, and fall at Sia. Looks to the inside line at turn one. Long way back on Jay Butler. Closes down the gap pretty well here. Will he go for that same attack into turn three of Renault? I don't think he can threaten at this present time. Jay Butler moves over anyways. Now into Repsol corner. Single file order the operation. And then he looks at the inside line again on Jay Butler in an attacking fashion. Jay Butler's going to have to defend here pretty hard going into Sia. He does defend pretty hard into that corner. Covers off the opportunity for Lewis Benny right now. Hold on, folks. The gap has come down to just 0.2 between Declan Daniel and Jaden Harrison. As Jaden Harrison had gone off track and almost runs into the rear end of the man in P1 is Declan Daniel. They're back up to 0.4 of a second. 151.7, 150.9. That's how the gap has come down pretty steadily. Jaden Harrison obviously feeling the pressure from behind from Declan, giving him a good run for his money. Let's see what happened to Jaden Harrison here. Oh, went straight off of Acacia. Interesting. Definitely feeling the heat, the pressure boiling over right now. Let's go on board with Declan Daniel here as we chase down Jaden Harrison going into the final sector. This is where Jay went off last time. Really good on the brakes, closing down the gap. Declan Daniel has it under control. A little bump over the curbs for Jaden Harrison. Got airborne, turned that four-wheeler into a two-wheeler real quick. I think this is where Daniel is strongest in this final sector. Full wheel lock to the right, full wheel lock to the left, and then tentative on the throttle coming through the final corner. Uses all the track that he's bought and paid for, and the gap steadily coming down between the two drivers. This might be a move going down in towards turn one. He's closer than he has been in a long time. The gap just 1/10. Looks to the inside line under the braking zone, but can't go for a move just yet. Jaden Harrison does cover it off. In the meantime, Lewis Benny passed Jay Butler for 6th. Monet Dupoy also passing Butler for P7. Almost touching the rear end of Jaden Harrison. The gap opens up here to 0.7 of a second. Lewis Benny into the pits for the second time, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is his first pit stop, going for a severe undercut on the rest of the field. It's adding to Gell that has actually been pit before. .150.1, 150.6 for the drivers in the lead of the race. 15-second gap back to Andrew Marsan, who is increasing his gap back to Gareth Wells. 3.8 seconds right now. The Calypso driver looking pretty handy right now. His pace and consistency definitely doing well to keep up with a veteran like Jaden Harrison as he goes off the track. Jaden Harrison needs to be careful with his off tracks right now. Could get a slowdown penalty. Coming into the final sector. Butler with a penalty, it looks like. Not sure what happened there for Jay Butler. Presumably an issue with his pit stop. Declan Daniel closing down the gap. Harrison covers off the inside line. Switchback over to the racing line is Harrison trying to cover off any attack from behind. Both drivers make the entry to turn one look easy as they're both on the attack. Jaden Harrison really in the middle of the racetrack while Declan Daniel was over on the inside of him. One driver at least could have taken the racing line, which is all the way over to the far left, almost on the green stuff. Carry more speed and momentum through turn 3 and gone for an attack into Repsol potentially. Declan Daniel not going for an attack early on in this race, trying to make it clean, trying to make it stick where it matters the most. Really closing down the gap through La Casia. Jaden Harrison just not comfortable with the way the track is moving against him, it seems. This third sector is where Daniel is so strong. He continually closes down the gap and then gets a great run leading down in towards turn 1. Now we're officially past the halfway point. I recommend to Declan Daniel to take the undercut that he could possibly undercut Jaden Harrison now. 149.9, 150.4. The gap is increasing again, slinking back and forth between the two. Both drivers on the optimum line leading down in towards turn 1. 0.6 will separate them. Monet Dupoy closing down on Benson Haldor, but will go down pit road now, trying to get an undercut himself. Half a second back, Declan Daniel on Jaden Harrison. Who's Benny still in pit lane right now? Adi Nagel able to pass Monet in the pits. He's on pit road exit. Both drivers deciding to stay out currently. Past the 22-minute mark, it looks like. Gareth Wells comes down pit road currently. He'll tumble down the order a few positions really quickly. The gap continues to slinky back and forth between the two, fluttering right around that half a second mark. Been as low as 1/10, leading down and towards turn 1. Is now the opportunity to strike. No, it is not the opportunity to strike pit lane, at least. Adi Nagel in 5th place, down 2 from where he started in 3rd. Monet Deploy in 6th right now. Gareth Wells in 7th. It's been a quiet run of events for the man in 3rd place, Andrew Marsan. Had a battle with his teammate from Calypso Racing early on in the event. Had a great start. Was up into P2 for a little bit. After the battle with Declan Daniel resulted in P3. And he has been pulling a gap away from his opponent behind of Haldor. And nothing else to write about for this conversation. Faster lap being of Andrew Marsan, 151.37. Last lap, 151.94 compared to 151.84, 152.2 for Haldor. So the gap really not closing itself down between Marsan and Haldor, only increasing. Haldor, biggest gainer right now with 5 points gained so far. Taking a look at those gains right now, Nigel down 2, Deploy down 2, Wells up 1, and Butler down 1. Lewis Benny out of this race in 9th position. Back over to the battle between Jaden Harrison and Declan Daniel. Coming into the final chicane, they're not nose to tail per se, but they are relatively close with 8/10 separating the two drivers, and neither one deciding to come down pit road as we approach the 30-minute mark here. It will be 30 minutes when the drivers cross the line, if I'm not mistaken. 149.8 for Declan Daniel. He's closing down the gap on Harrison out in front. Double D showing us what he's made out of right now. Good run of events so far this evening, even with just 9 drivers participating. If you'd like to get involved in this championship, make sure you check out the Sim Racers room on SimGrid. Sign up for the championship, join the Discord, have a good conversation with some folks in your local area, exchange tips and tricks, be part of this wonderful community that is the Sim Racers room. And shout out to all of the admins, moderators, and people that set up this championship to make it what it is today. Shout out to Monet Deploy. Did I mention, by the way, that there are 5 prizes up for grabs in the form of Steam gift cards? P1 through P5 will be getting rewards for their participation. So if you think that you have what it takes to challenge Jaden Harrison, you can win yourself some real life bucks. No pit stop yet again for these two. Super surprising that no one's gone for the undercut. We know Monet Deploy went for an undercut. Last lap's around 150.15, 150.17, almost identical between the two leaders. Still in the mix for the battle for P1. Lap traffic of Gareth Wells up the road by 25 seconds right now. Should not become an issue for the drivers on the lead lap. Jade Harrison being really aggressive with his entry into some of these corners. You can hear him bark over the rumble strip. Couple moments of sights and sounds for you there as we hear these wonderful Porsche Cups go around the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Don't get it mixed up, though. We're in the province of Barcelona, not actually in Barcelona. There's the undercut from Declan Daniel. As he comes down pit road, number 31 driver hits his mark for the pit board during practice. Will he be able to pull that off again here? Looks like he hit his marks pretty well, as he did get that practice in. He's on his way out of pit road. Very good stop. 8.55 seconds. Pit time, pit lane time of 33.87. Marsan in the background came down pit road. Getting a service right now of 16 seconds plus. Finally getting his service taken care of. Has Jaden Harrison run out of fuel? No stinking way. No shot. Jaden Harrison with a critical mistake. Declan Daniel walks by easily, as Harrison must have not remembered to check his fuel load and has run out on the last lap and is just trundling around right now. Absolutely crazy things have happened and will happen in motor racing. Marsan, 35 seconds back. Now the question is can he make it to the top of the hill of Banc Sabadell with the fuel he has remaining, or will he actually have to stop his car? He is getting to the top of the hill right now. And now it's all downhill to his pit stop. He might be in the clear. But there's Marsan coming by him now. And then Adi Nagel with an amazing recovery drive during this event will get by as well. As long as Adi doesn't need to make a second pit stop of the evening, he should be okay. But he might have to make an additional pit stop. What a recovery drive for the number 78. Who had a terrible start to this event. Started in P3, tumbled down to the back of the grid, fighting his way for the past 34 minutes back up to the front, and is now in P3. Great recovery for Adi. Check out the battle between Monet and Branson Haldor here. Both drivers have pit, so this will be a battle for position on track. Monet doing a good job of closing down the gap to the fast right-hander. On the brakes, very good as well, the number 8. And there it is. Addy does have to take a second pit stop. But can he get out with just fuel alone, or will he decide to take tires also? He's stopping for a service right now. 7:20, and he's on his way out right now. Where is Addy's going to come out in the middle of this pack battle? And the battle for P3 is spicing up to be something, because there's Jaden Harrison getting involved in the mix. Coming into turn 1, we're going to go 3 wide. Monet closes down the gap, but has to back out of it, wants no part of that action. Addy secures P3 through turn 1. Jaden Harrison, though, trying to change all of that up and put it on its head. Jaden Harrison to the inside of Branson Haldor makes the move look easy. Adding Nigel, the next driver up, will be his mark. Trying to posture his way forward. Jaden Harrison looking like he wants to attack the inside line, comes all the way over to the pit road, gets pushed off towards the grass. And Nigel with his best Minister of Defense hat on right now, but can't attack back, leading in towards turn 2. Still up for grabs, the battle between 4th and 5th. And the battle between 5th and 6th, Monet Duploy and Branson Haldor going after it. 1 minute remaining. And it will be this lap, last lap for us tonight, folks. Oh, what happened to Addy there? Addy ended up crashing. No. On the final lap of the event. Oh, no. That'll still leave Declan Daniel in P1, Jaden Harrison in P3, Marsan in P2. P4 and 30 points will go to Haldor. Rene Dupoy trying to change that up, though. Coming through Renault. And into Repsol now. The long way around the outside. Monet trying to make that one stick, but unable to do so. But it's all been up to this man, Declan Daniel, keeping it calm, cool, and collected. Coming in with the checkered flag, Declan Daniel claims P1. Andrew Marsan in P2. Marsan in P2. Jaden Harrison in P3. P4 and 30 points going to Haldor. P5 going to Monet Dupoy. Wells bringing things home in P6. Adding Nagel with a terrible run of events this time around. In 7th position, claiming 21 points, Butler. That'll be Jay Butler. Taking home 8th position and a haul of 19 points. And Lewis Benny dropping out of this race in 9th position, getting 17 points. Take a look at the race results here. Declan Daniel, Andrew Marsan, Jaden Harrison, Branson Haldor, Monet Duploy, Gareth Wells, Addie Nagel, Jay Butler, and Lewis Benny rounding out the order. Take a look at the championships as well. And this should be an indication of the points. Jaden Harrison up into P1 now with 113 points in front of Declan Daniel in P2. Kadeem Mohammed in P3, Monet Duploy into 4th, Addie Nagel into 5th with 69, Andrew Marsan in 6th, Peter Arundel in 7th, Lewis Benny in 8th, Julian Narce in 9th, Giannis Constantine in 10th, Branson Haldor in 11th, Gareth Wells in 12th, Michael Ashe in 13th, Benny Vaga in 14th, Joshua Brady in 16th, Deslin Van Grupp in 16th position. Stand by, folks. We still have interviews left to go. So without any further delay, we'll be right back. And stay tuned for those interviews where we'll talk to the race leaders. But first, let's take a look at one of the things that is coming up for the Sim Racers Room. We want to go ahead and present this sooner rather than later. And this is going to be an exciting event. What we have coming up is the 2 hours of Silverstone solo endurance event on November 2nd. And this is going to be on Le Mans Ultimate. If this is something you're interested in, check us out on SimGrid to participate and sign up for this historic 2-hour Silverstone solo endurance event. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned, and we'll be right back, folks. I told you we'd be right back, and we are, folks. Stand by as we grab some of the drivers from the grid for their interviews. Let's try to talk to Jaden Harrison first and foremost. Let's see if we can grab him into the broadcast booth. Jaden Harrison, Are you there, sir?
Yes.
How are you doing? What a commanding race that you ended up having, but one little incident costed you P1 in this event. What was going on, brother?
So my spotter said I had another lap of fuel like halfway through the lap, but then like I didn't realize that meant that was from that point. So I thought I could go another lap, and yeah, I had to just like coast around the track to not run out.
Oh man, I thought the undercut was going to be super strong here at Barcelona due to the tire degradation, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. You guys tried to go past the 20-minute mark. Was that your plan all along?
Well, I was fuel saving very heavy, so I was trying to go long, but yeah, I should have pit. It was 2 liters too short.
2 liters too short. What a darn shame, Jaden Harrison. Is there anything in your race that we may have missed or any highlights that you really want to point out? You had a great battle with Declan Daniel for a majority of that race. That must have felt pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we were going at it the whole race. He seemed to be very comfortable at this track.
Yeah, he definitely seemed to have his head on a swivel and very comfortable on the track as well. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank or anybody that you'd like to mention, shout out before I let you go and we talk to Marsan?
Yes, my team, DWR Sim Racing.
Right on. Shout out to DWR Sim Racing from here in the broadcast booth as well. They've provided Jaden Harrison with quite the coaching and the setups, I would imagine, to get you to be as fast as you are and across multiple championships, sir. It's a pleasure to see you running again.
Yes.
Have a great day, Jaden. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, good one.
Let's talk to Andrew Marsan, who had to battle. Hello, Mr. Marsan. You had a nice little battle with your teammate, Declan Daniel, but most importantly, you had a great start to this race.
Yeah, had a good launch. A little luck came my way with Ati. Had a little issue. I got past Daniel, but he's faster than me. It was only a matter of time before he passed, and I made a mistake, and that was the door for him to go through. And I just wanted to keep it on track and hope for the best. And a little luck came my way, and second place it is. Yeah.
Fantastic. But you had to be there when the checkered flag was flying, and there's the mistake that you ended up making going over the sausage curbs through the final corner, and that was really the done deal for yourself and Declan Daniel, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I might have stayed in the slipstream a little bit, but that little mistake I'd hit in that sausage curb is just a no-no in this car, and yeah, that was the opportunity for them to leave me out.
Now, other than that, Andrew, it sounds like you had a pretty quiet race, resting in P4 for the majority of it, and then clinching your way back at the very end up into P2 after a couple drivers made mistakes. Was there anything in your race that we may have missed or anything that we may not have caught? Some highlights that you had?
I know it was kind of a boring drive. I was by myself for most of the time. And hoping for some mistakes. Well, of course, Jaden and his fuel issue. And yeah, just keep the car on the road and hope for the best. And I'm so glad for the second place.
Very glad to see you, Marsan. You've done a good job this event. Hopefully we'll see you through the rest of the championship as well. Is there anybody that you want to thank or anybody that you'd like to shout out before I grab Declan Daniel next?
It's all right. You could grab Declan and have your interview with him.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Have a great night.
You too. Take care.
Mr. Daniel.
Hey.
I just can't seem to shake you, can I? You've done pretty phenomenal this week as far as racing concerned.
Yeah, I think I had a good week, except for a race I did on LMU last night. But other than that, yeah, it's been a good week.
Awesome to hear it. Well, a P1 for you. That's a good haul of points for the championship standings. 45 big ones coming your way. You gained one position on the good with Jaden Harrison making that critical fuel error. Were you trying to challenge him to the line for fuel? Were you trying to match him in the pit stop strategy? What was going through your head there? Because obviously Jaden ran out of fuel.
Yeah, I think we were both saving fuel, and I don't know. I might take credit for him missing that stop because I think he was concentrating on me a lot behind, and maybe not listening to his spotter. But when I saw him not pit, I was confused because I saved a lot and I had to pit that lap. I was like, there's no way he saved more than me. And then when I came out of the pits and I saw him just stumbling around, I was like, okay, yeah, I know what happened there.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. What was going through your head when you did see Jaden Harrison kind of trundling around the track and you knew that P1 was going to be yours now?
Well, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it until it happened because seeing him miss the stop, I already knew what the outcome was. But after that, it was kind of weird because it's like he was my North Star for a while, for so long, and then he was gone, and I didn't know what to do anymore. So I had to try to find my own pace, trying to find my own way around without dying and like just giving away a P1 for free. I think I ended up with a 40-second gap or something like that. So
yeah,
I guess I could have made a mistake and I would have been fine, but I didn't realize we were that far ahead until like after the pit stops as well.
Yeah,
no
you
idea.
guys were running with it for sure. Fastest lap of the race, I believe, going to Jaden Harrison.
Yeah.
149.31 being the fastest lap. You were not too far behind with a 149.79. And I think the next closest was a 151. So you guys were lapping about 2 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field.
Yeah, Catalunya things. I don't think everyone is a fan of this track. It's one of the ones that you kind of just suffer through. It's really technical. Everything is technical. There's no like fun, especially this layout. This layout is probably the worst one.
Yeah, I was expecting to have no chicane and potentially some more overtakes leading down into towards turn 1 and into the final corner. But surprisingly, we did have the chicane here. I know it's an option in iRacing, but wasn't sure which variant we were selecting for this event, obviously.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, it was a great run of events. Congratulations on P1. Any shout outs or anybody that you'd like to thank? Again, your wife, your family, of course.
Yeah, of course. They're always supportive, giving me this much time to do what I have to do. But also my team, CRC. I'm not sure how many of them are in chat, but shout out to them. A lot of us couldn't make it today, but we still tried to represent. GSRA, Jaden, Mornay, of course, SRR, and yourself. Yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you very much, Declan. It's been a pleasure to speak with you yet again, and hopefully we'll talk again next week. Have a wonderful night, brother.
Okay, thanks. You too.
Whew, man, that was an exciting event, folks. If you missed it, go ahead and hit the rewind button, but don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button first. Ring the bell, get the notifications when we go live. This has been an extraordinary event from the Sim Racers room, folks, and this is only round 3 of an 8-round championship where the top 5 are going to get prizes, so make sure you stay tuned. But what we do need to mention just one more time is the event that we have coming up on November 2nd, the 2 hours of Silverstone, the solo endurance event on LMU. Make sure you sign up, check it out on the Sim Grid. It will be a live broadcasted event. Check us out. Make sure you join. It's going to be a humdinger of a time. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, get the notifications, and join us on Discord for a good conversation. And you can find yourself caught on camera for the next event for sure. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to be your host. As always, folks, I'm Saga Bakshi, a.k.a. The Real High. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are. And as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye, folks.